end. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I do feel that your husband is still very much around you. And I do feel that connection that you had with him hasn't gone anywhere. It's still very much a part of your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I'm also being shown here with him that he passed away quite suddenly. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Went to sleep and just didn't wake up. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I feel with him that, how can I put it? It's like there's something here that he left everything in a mess. Does that make sense? Or there was so much to sort out afterwards. It wasn't just dealing with that. It was everything else as well. Does that make sense on a more practical level?
Yes, that makes sense.
However, this is something that you sorted through, you dealt with, and you did a really good job, and particularly in terms of like moving forwards with your life. Okay. I feel that he's going to direct you to your next relationship, and the person I've actually got you with has, I feel, lots in common with your late husband, and I feel like when you look at him, you'll say, how can I put it? You'll know that your husband would have approved or would have liked the person that's coming into your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Like, can you see like how when this might happen? Because it's like I'm just miserable right now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel it much depends on when your first step comes in. If that comes in, which I feel it will do over the next 6 months, I feel like I've got you walking away from your relationship that you're in at the moment, and I feel that within 6 months of that time, you're going to have this new relationship enter your life.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a long wait, but it just feels as though there's a couple of things that need to happen before that's able to come into your life.
And thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now, back to A1R on the Air, Psychic Talk Radio Now on Moonstruck TV, enlightening television.
Hello and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. Welcome to another show. And now I normally sort of have a little sort of spiritual talk before we start doing 2 readings. So I know that we're going to have a couple of callers coming in later. So what thought I would talk about today is I was thinking about just people in general and what some amazing people in the world do. If you take someone like Gandhi, for instance, or Mother Teresa, or, some of the saints, or, just some incredible people that have set up charities and done things for other people. In other words, they've come to the earth plane and they've been fair of heart, great. They've had that grace and they've given to other people and they've made their life about giving to other people. And I just sort of, was reflecting on that and thinking how amazing that is and how that's in a way to be like that is quite a challenge, isn't it? Because we naturally, instinctively are I guess, sort of thinking about our own needs and what we want in life. And whereas we might have, say, we may think from time to time about others, mostly we're getting on with our own lives. And I was thinking how, wouldn't it be amazing if everybody in the world was charitable? Everybody did something for somebody else in need. Everybody helped everybody else. Now, as you can probably gather, I'm from England, and so that's where that English accent comes from. And when I was a little girl, I used to read these books that were written by Enid Blyton. She was an English authoress, and she wrote about, I guess you could probably pitch it for, the 1950s or that sort of era. And she would write about 5 children who just have loads of adventures and fun, and they'd go off with their dog, and it was called The Famous Five. And I always think, wouldn't it be wonderful to live in Enid Blyton land, to sort of have that sort of safety where nobody has to sort of lock their doors, or nobody has to sort of worry about theft or some of the difficulties and the challenges that we have in our lives today. I mean, obviously, there are some things that, we wouldn't want to lose today as well. I think society has come a long way. But I think sort of, what I would just sort of love is what I want people to sort of think about is about, operating from your heart is on some respect a challenging thing. But it enables you to be, if you operate from your heart, then what you're doing is you're doing God's work. You're helping the spirit world, and you're bringing love to other people. And I firmly believe that is absolutely what God wants of you. He wants you to be good to others. He wants you to help others. He wants you to support others. So it's sort of just, and that's not to say that we just ignore all our needs. And of course, our needs have to be met. That's quite important. But I just think it's something to sort of think about how we are in our life. Interesting, I remember I had a friend who's passed now, and we both lived in London at the time. And she said, and London is very much the sort of place where you would go out into the streets and nobody would say hello. Nobody would sort of, look at you. They would just get on with their daily life. And that was the way London was in those days. And I remember her saying, I'm going to go out into the streets and walk along the streets, and I'm going to smile to everybody that I pass by, and I'm going to give them a smile. Isn't that amazing that she thought that? And she said it was just incredible how people would actually smile back, because London is not known for it. It's quite a solitary place in a way. Obviously, for those people who've made lots of friends, then it's not solitary, but it's people keep themselves to themselves, and they're not looking to sort of engage with you on the streets or on the trains or the underground. It's very sort of much like that. But what she was showing to me is how she wanted to actually show love. I mean, a smile is showing love to somebody, and how she was attempting to do that. I just thought that was just sort of quite sort of incredible. Her generosity of heart, I think, is what she had. Now, I know that we're going to have a couple of callers, and I believe I've got one waiting. Brooke in Broussard, Louisiana. Are you there, Brooke?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, and welcome to the show. And how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Now, have you ever had a reading before?
I have, but I don't think it was accurate.
Right, okay. Well, hopefully we can do something better today. So I I'm a medium, and that means that I can first of all, I can connect to loved ones in the spirit world, or I can speak to my guides or your loved ones to give you guidance. Is there a particular way that you would like me to work? And if so, where would you like me to focus?
A medium, the medium one for medium reading.
Okay, and is there somebody in particular that you'd like me to connect to? The reason I ask is because we have so little time on the show.
Okay. My grandfather, who today would have been his 99th birthday.
Oh wow! Right. Okay. Let's see if I can get him. He's just instantly come forward, and he said to me that he's just said to me, I've been waiting patiently to talk because he was planning to talk. He's saying to me that like he remembers you well as a child. And I feel that there was, he's making me feel as though he had a role to play in part of your bringing you up. Would you understand that?
Can you say that again, please?
He's saying to me that he had a role to play in bringing you up. I feel that you would spend quite a bit of time with him. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Because he's making me feel as though he loves you like his own daughter. Like it's almost as though you're his daughter, not a granddaughter.
Yeah. Yes.
That would make sense to you, would it?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
He's saying to me that he's making me feel as though he's like a really sweet grandfather. Like he would spend a lot of time playing with you and give you a sort of a lot of attention when you were a younger child. And I just feel that he's showing me playing. That's the thing that I'm getting quite a lot of. And he's showing me sitting on some steps by the front door. It looks like a front door, could be a back door, but it's by a door that I'm seeing. And I'm sitting on steps and I'm playing with something on the steps with you. And I feel that this is a memory link. And you look, he's shown me as I look at you that you're quite small, but he has this memory of always looking to sort of, he's just playful is what I feel with him. Does that make sense to you?
That he seems playful?
Pardon?
That he seems playful?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I have some memories of him, yes.
Because he's showing me these memories, and you're quite small. So that, and I feel that there's some sort of link towards he brings me straight to sort of your childhood as opposed to sort of an adult. And I feel sort of quite sort of strong about wanting to connect in with regards to your childhood, and that's where he's focusing his attention on with you.
Yeah.
I feel with him that he's making me feel as though he was a little bit upset with certain things with regards to I feel with regards to your parents and how they were doing things with you. Would that make sense to you?
Wait, can you say that again?
He's telling me that he was a little bit upset with your parents with how they were doing things with regards to bringing you up. Would that make sense to you?
That would very much make sense to me because My mom was more of a loving person than my father. So,
but
yeah.
he didn't agree with some of the parenting ways that they adopted, the style that they adopted. But he's drawing before you mentioned about your mum being more loving, he was drawing my attention to your mum, and I feel that he makes me feel like he's more connected to your mum. So this that he has more of a love for your mum, as I'm talking, which would suggest to me that your mum is his daughter.
Yes.
That's correct,
yes, very much that.
And he's saying to me that he always had a problem with her choice in other words, your father. He didn't agree with his behavior. He didn't. He found him to be like he worried about his discipline and his methods of how he would treat you and how he would behave.
Yes, that makes total sense. Very much sense. I know exactly where you're going with that, because he really
he saw your father as being a bit of a bull.
Huh?
So he saw your father as being a bit of a bully, and I just feel that he was very disappointed, and I feel that he also had sort of like he also had a concern for your well-being, because he's making me feel as though your father could be a little bit too heavy-handed in his discipline. Would that make sense to you, Brooke?
Like to a T, like, my gosh.
He broke your jaw, did you say?
Huh?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
What did you say?
I said that he was concerned about your father because he felt that his discipline was too heavy-handed.
It was. To be honest, it very well was. So it makes sense.
He was concerned for your safety and concerned for your well-being, and he's telling me that when he was able to see you and have you with him, he always felt a little bit more comfortable, because he knew that you would be. He was concerned for your safety, and he's saying to me that he's making me feel as though he highly disagreed with your mum marrying, or I don't know whether they were married, but being together with your father, and he just disapproved totally of the relationship, and he's also saying to me that he wasn't always nice to your mum either, and your mum suffered at the hand of your father as well.
That's all true. That all makes total sense.
He's saying to me that he's making me feel that you made a decision from a very young age to find freedom, to be almost like you're escaping, and I feel because I feel that you've left home very at a young age. Would you understand that?
Hard to understand what you just said. Can you repeat, please?
You left home at a very young age.
Very young age?
Yes. were young when you left home.
Okay.
And
I was
does
young
that make sense?
when I left home.
Yes.
I kind of never left home. I moved around a lot.
Okay, well then there must be a time where you found yourself in more freedom when you were younger, because I feel like you didn't have to be so concerned for your father in the way that he behaved.
Oh yeah, I was always a daddy's girl, and I just I would worship the ground he walked on and everything, and it was just the way it was supposed to, the way I felt it, because I was very well attached